It's officially both my favorite and least favorite time of the year, and that is the holiday season. So whether you're celebrating Christmas, Hanukkah, another holiday, solstice, whatever it is, you're likely shopping for gifts for folks or thinking about what you'd like to receive yourself. And so, if you're watching this as a knitter and trying to determine what is on your wish list, or you are shopping for a knitter and trying to decide what to get them, I hope this video is helpful to give you some ideas for potential knitter gift ideas that are not yarn. Hello, welcome if you're new here. My name's Sarah. I talk about yarn and knitting on the internet. If you've been around a while, welcome back. So it is almost Christmas, that's what I celebrate, but it's also almost Hanukkah, almost the solstice, whatever you celebrate. It's a very common time of year to be gifting and receiving gifts from folks. So I wanted to sit down and talk about a lot of my favorite knitting related products and knitting related items that I think would make great gifts. So if you are a knitter watching this video and kind of trying to determine what to ask for or build out your wish list, hopefully this is a great resource. And if you are someone trying to shop for a knitter, hopefully this is also a great resource. So I have a few categories of things I've broken down, and I'm specifically not going to talk about yarn to buy folks because I feel like I have a common problem where, of course, whatever someone gets me is lovely. Like, I appreciate being thought of and being given a gift, but with yarn, it's such a personal thing of how much yarn I need to make a project, what colors I like, what fibers I like. So even other knitters don't always want to receive yarn because I just rather buy that for myself because I'll have a specific project in mind or have specific colors. So I'm intentionally not recommending to buy yarn. And so I have lots of other things that you could buy instead. So let's talk about it. So I have a few different categories. I'm starting off with this kind of overarching category, which is just a gift card. And I'm starting with gift cards because I'm tired of the slander that gift cards get. I understand like an Amazon or maybe a Visa gift card or a Target gift card aren't the most personal thing, but I'm specifically recommending as a gift card to a local yarn store or a small business online or a yarn dyer, because I love gift cards to gift and receive because not only are you getting a product, a fun yarn or fun notions from this place eventually once that person could go make their own purchase, but it's a fun experience. I love being able to go to my local yarn store and choose all my little items. So I think that a gift card is a really great gift and a very personal thing because you're choosing something that's like, hey, a small business in your area. Like, I highly recommend finding a local yarn store first. That's always my favorite. If like my preference and how I shop goes local and then small online and then big at the end. And I've tried to organize this list as well in that order. But maybe there's a local yarn store that you can ask for a gift card from or get a gift card from. That would make a beautiful personal gift to say, here's this fun experience. Hope you enjoy this store. If you've already been there and you get to go back to your favorite store, how great is that? And you're not spending your own money and you get to choose your own yarn, your own whatever you want. So I think it's a great gift. So I have recommended a few online small businesses. I highly recommend checking out the local yarn stores in your area first. And I've also added a lot of yarn dyers will offer gift cards as well. So that's a great way to support your favorite yarn dyers. And, if you have a favorite or if you're shopping from someone and know they love a certain yarn dyer, there are gift cards to that person. So I've put my favorite yarn dyer down below, Salty Blonde Fibers, but there are many, many, many yarn dyers that offer gift cards. So I highly recommend checking that out as well. So that's that first overarching category that's quick to buy, that is a fun gift and give someone an experience, as well as an eventual fun nitty gift. So moving on, I have this category of kind of physical care items because as a knitter, like our bodies go through a lot physically. There's a reason why a lot of older knitters have arthritis. And so these gifts are all kind of to help physically prevent that. And so the first thing I have is talking about hand care and specifically the skin on our hands. I don't know about you all, but especially in the winter when I'm knitting a lot, my hands get really beat up and are super dry, super scratchy. You can see like right now I have patches of eczema from knitting and having yarn rub on my hands. And so I think it's always great to receive or gift really nice lotions that absorb quickly and are something that I wouldn't necessarily buy for myself, but really appreciate once I have, is like a very fast absorbing, non-greasy lotion, because then I can put it on when I realize my hands are really dry and maybe they're even catching on yarn. Like I've had my hands so dry that they're kind of splitting or cracking and they're catching on my yarn, which makes it worse. So being able to then put on this lotion, let it dry for a few minutes, and then get right back into knitting is awesome. And you can, get a variety of lotion kits, from a lot of different local, like Target sells them, Amazon, or maybe you're able to go to like a local craft fair. There's a lot around Christmas time, or farmer's market, or support a local business that does some nice handmade lotions, because I know there's also a lot of those. So look around for that. In addition to lotions, I think another kind of great little gift for a knitter is a nail care kit, that has the nail trimmers to cut off any things, and especially ones that you can use to like cut off hangnails, because again, those will catch on yarn and get really annoying while you're knitting. So it's just lovely to be able to take care of that. I also think, I was talking to my mom earlier and she recommended, it'd be nice like a certificate for a manicure or something to just really take care of your hands. It doesn't necessarily have to be, getting your nails painted, but do really nice cuticle shaping. Just make sure that you're not going to have all these things that catch in your hands, or even like spa gloves that have like nice lotion hand mask kind of thing to treat our hands nicely for the skin is a good idea. Another one that I've thought of is Andrea, and she goes by the Knitting PT online, and she sells a lot of products that are made for physical therapy for knitters. And so she has this specific hand care kit that you can get that comes with some nice little massage balls to kind of rub in your hand to work out little knots you get from knitting and holding your hands all funny. There's a strengthening putty to strengthen your grip and be able to knit more frequently and for longer going forward, and a few other, like a wrist care thing as well, so that you can take care of your hands in long term. And I think that'd be a really nice gift, because I know I should get that. I know that I should be doing all that, but it's something that I just wouldn't necessarily buy for myself. And so I think many are the same, and it would be a great and well-used gift. My next recommendation for physical care items for knitters is to get an ergonomic pillow. So I recently just got this nursing pillow, which I do have linked. It's one I got from Amazon. There are other ones as well, but it's a nursing pillow, for nursing a baby. But it's nice to be able to sit it on my lap, and it goes around, and I'm able to rest my elbows on it while I'm sitting, and then rest my project on it, so that I don't have all this strain kind of in my arms, like trying to hold them up and hold my project up. Once my project is getting really heavy or I'm tired knitting at the end of the day, it's really nice to have the support of like not having to hold my arms up like this, because I was actually injuring my elbows, almost getting like tennis elbow from kind of holding up and knitting. It was putting a lot of strain when I was working on this heavy project. So it's a good idea. It's another thing that, like, unless you are developing tennis elbow, you might not think to buy for yourself, but can really improve your knitting health in the long term. So highly recommend. I have a few linked down below. So that's kind of the physical care category of, taking care of our hands, taking care of our posture, trying to not get tendonitis is the biggest thing. So all of those I think are great for fun gift. And another category is a little bit more fun. I mean, the first category is very important, but this is a fun category. So we're talking about accessories for knitting items. So the first category here is, of course, project bags, and there are copious, amazing project bags on the market. There are so many fun project bags out there. I have just recommended a few here, and different price levels, different availability. So I'll start with the small business ones, because always trying to support those first. And so the first one that I have linked is for the Blue Rabbit House. This is a brand that I bought from before. She's one woman in Northern Europe that illustrates these bags, has the fabric printed, and then is sewing these bags together. And they are so beautiful, so cute. I have one that's a little frog. His name's Henry, and he's in a mushroom house, but there's little hedgehogs. There's all these little animals doing little activities, and they're just cozy. They have different sizes to fit different projects, and it's just a really nice, small, single person business. So, highly recommend them. At this point, they'd probably be pretty hard to ship in time to the US, but for Christmas Day. But, you know, if you could gift later or you are near this designer, probably could still get one. And she does pre-order bags and in stock. So, of course, you also have to shop the in stock ones at this point. But great business. Highly recommend her project bags. Another smaller business that I love is DelaQ, and specifically they have these line of project bags that are the O Snap bags, and they have little snaps at the top and typically have a little zipper on the front to put some items, and they're just really easy to transport for project bags. They're cute. They're usually transparent so you can see your project, and they're not too expensive. There's also these big cases from DelaQ and lots of really great things from DelaQ. So I recommend checking them out. Overall, maybe find something else that you think is perfect, but their snap bags to me are just such a great, easy project bag. They have ones with loops, they have bigger ones, they have ones with pockets on the outside. So highly recommend checking them out and maybe adding to your list or buying for someone else. And then I have 2 project bags from Amazon because sometimes you're in a pinch and you need a bag quickly. And these are actually both not technically like designed to be project bags. So it's not a small business that's selling them. And so there's 2. The first one I have is actually a tote bag I bought a year ago that is a nice big size. It's got pockets on the outside. It zips and is just a really great bag for knitters to use as a project bag. I mean, it's meant to just be kind of a purse or a tote bag, but it's lightweight, it zips up, it has tons of pockets, and so I think it makes the perfect project bag for larger kind of sweater quantity projects. I also have linked a small pencil case actually, and for a pencil case, it's quite large, and I have one that's quite similar to this, and I found that it fits 1 skein of yarn plus like my needles and a sock project. So it's my perfect kind of sock project bag. It's got some different compartments to put in different notions I need for knitting socks, and it's small and portable. And so it's a great idea as well to have like just this little bag that you can make some socks in or a hat, like whatever small projects you're working on. It's the perfect project bag for that. So those are my fun project bag recommendations for now. There are millions of really fun ones though, so highly recommend also looking around. So if you're buying from a local yarn store for another gift, maybe look for a project bag while you're there, or if you're shopping online at a small business, look at what they have for project bags as well, because I'm recommending 2, but a lot of yarn stores online or in person will just sell some of these as well, so look there first. My next recommendation are cute stitch markers because they're so fun. And yes, cute stitch markers are not necessary. You can just use like safety pins or random earrings or like really boring little rings, but a cute stitch marker makes the knitting experience more fun, at least for me. So I have some of my favorite ones linked, and then I also have some that I haven't tried before but I think are really beautiful. And so these first ones are from a brand called Twill and Print, and right now their in-stock supply is pretty limited. I think it's one person that is running this business, but they have some really beautiful, cute little progress keepers, stitch markers that go on your needles, as well as other products, including like row counters that you spin and you can link it on your work or attach it to something else, and they're just so cute. So highly recommend Twill and Print for your stitch markers because they're really cute and they're shipping in stock. And when I ordered in the past, they're in Canada, but shipped to the US really quickly, or hopefully wherever you're based, you can get them. The next ones are these flower stitch markers from All Stitch Studios. I've linked the full box set, but you can get all of the different sizes on their own, and they are so cute and so useful because they're just kind of these enamel coated circular stitch markers that are in fun different colors, and they don't have any seams on them, so they're snag free, they're small, they just fit on your needles, and I feel like they're so convenient when you have a lot of stitch markers on the needles for raglans, or I'll track like different areas of a cable design of where I'm doing each one. I'll put a stitch marker, and that's a lot of stitch markers on one needle, and so it's really useful to have these small, cute, circular ones. So I recommend those as well. These other ones are from Katrinkles that I've recommended, and I love Katrinkles. They're a really nice brand. I've gotten some of their stitch markers before, and they have a bunch of really cute ones, so I highly recommend checking out all of them. They have different, cats, they have Santas, they have sheep, they have sweaters, they have tons. They have useful ones that say like, here's knit two together, and you can put them, where you have to do that in your work. So lots of cute little stitch markers that I highly recommend you just go through. I think there's some for everyone on there. And then I have 2 Etsy shops linked as well. One is Celebrity Sighting, and they have really cute polymer clay stitch markers as well as some metallic ones. So it's a great mix on their site of what the stitch markers they have are, and there's different varieties of how they attach to work. Some are little kind of lobster clasps that you can pin on individual stitches, and some will be able to go on the needles and are almost kind of earring clasp things, so you can put them on your needles and pin them to your work. So super fun. And yeah, a variety between polymer clay, like little kind of plastic ones, little metallic or metal ones with enamel on them. So very cute variety. The Pokemon ones are so cute too, and so I think those are great and I would recommend. And then the final Etsy shop is Soft Spoken, which I've bought from before, and they are really cute polymer clay stitch markers that are then resin sealed and have really nice kind of these earring clasp attachments so that they can go on your needles. They're circular to go on your needles, and you can also hook them to your work, so they can be used both ways, and they are so cute. So right now their shop doesn't have too much in it because they're kind of do different drops, but I believe that they're adding more to their shop soon. And in addition to the really cute stitch markers, they have buttons, which are really fun. So you can maybe do both as an order, but they're super cute, fun little items. So I recommend Soft Spoken. I love the stitch markers I have from them. And then the next category of cute, fun accessories are measuring tapes. So I'm not going to go through all the measuring tapes, but it is so handy as a knitter to have lots and lots of different measuring tapes. I have one that specifically stays at my desk all the time. There's always one in all of my project bags. I just have measuring tapes everywhere because it is so annoying when I don't have one and I need to measure something, and I lose them very frequently, or they break over time, like they kind of wear out at where you pull them out. So it is very convenient to just have tons of measuring tapes. So I have a few different sets of measuring tapes linked that are from Amazon, but again, lots of local yarn stores sell measuring tapes. Lots of online yarn stores that are smaller sell them. So look there first, but I'm just linking a few sets from Amazon, and yeah, they're just useful. In addition to those just standard, kind of tailor's measuring tapes where you pull it out, it's only like 60 inches in total, so it's not a super long measuring tape, but they're small, they're convenient to use, and the measuring tape is flexible. Those are my criteria for a knitting measuring tape. In addition to those, I think that this specific measuring tape from Twice Sheared Sheep, which is called the sock sizing ruler, is so useful and so fun because it's a slap bracelet that has a ruler on one side of it with both centimeters and inches, and then also has just standard sock sizes on the other side, or shoe sizes on the other side. So you can see if I want to make a men's US 7, I can put this ruler inside my sock while I'm knitting it from either the toe or the heel and see how close I am to that. And once I hit that, I'm at this measurement. So I think that's a really useful tool. I got it this year and I've loved using it. It's also just fun to play with because it's like a slap bracelet. So highly recommend that as a fun measuring addition as well. My next fun accessory is cute scissors. And I might be biased because I collect cute scissors. So I have a bunch of little kind of snip scissors that are just small. I have the stork ones that are very common. I like to collect little scissors from different places I travel or little gifts from people. So I'm a little biased here, but I think that cute scissors are really a great addition to your work. And so I've linked one Etsy shop that has some really great scissors, but again, a lot of local yarn stores, a lot of online shops have cute little scissors. So I highly recommend checking there first. My next recommendation for a fun little accessory are row counters. So they are just really useful to be able to, keep track of your work as you're going. So they're either these ones that I have from Twice Sheared Sheep, where each time there's a count from 1 to 10, and you slide to a different hole each time so you can see how far you are within that count. There's ones that spin on your work, so you can set them like that. There's ones that you can attach to like your project bag and spin from Twill and Print. There's ones that you can kind of like slap. It's almost like one of those like people counters that you can, click each time you do a row or something. So lots of different options out there. I think that they are just a super useful thing that you may not think to buy for yourself, but once you have them, there's no going back. Like I cannot knit a raglan or cables without one of my row counters to keep track of where I am. So highly recommend that as well as a great little gift. And my final fun little accessory are needle stoppers. So these, go on the points of your needles. They're also called point protectors, just to keep your stitches on your needles when you're not using them. And they're especially great if you travel with your knitting a lot. It's just the added safety of like, oh, these point protectors are on, so even if my knitting bag gets really jostled, my knitting is going to stay on the needles is super awesome. And they're also really cute. So there's lots of varieties. I have 2 different shops that have a lot of them linked, but you can get lots of cute ones. There's like leaves, there's flowers. You can just look up point protectors on Etsy, on Amazon, on these little shops and see what might come up. And hopefully there's one that's relevant to you or your giftee. And so my final category of gifts, or my second to last category of gift items, are tools to use in your knitting. So the first one is an interchangeable knitting needle set. This is a big ticket item because they're quite expensive, especially the 2 I have linked are not a cheap gift, but they are so useful. So I highly recommend thinking about getting one and maybe buying these ones. So the first one I have linked is the knitting needle set I have. Well, one of 2, but it is the Chiago Twist Red Lace knitting needle set. It's a metal set of needles. The cables I just find are really nice. They're really secure. The metal points aren't too sharp because I've knit with needles before that are really sharp and I'm either hurting my finger while I'm knitting them and kind of pushing stitches across or constantly piercing my yarn. And so I like that these are kind of blunter knitting needle tips. And yeah, I just really enjoy the experience of knitting with these. They have a wide variety of sizes and it's just a high quality set. I also have the knit pick sets linked. There's lots of different varieties of knit pick sets. I will say their normal knitting needles are fine and great, the larger sizes of them, but they have specific sets that have thinner cords. So they're like, I think it sizes US 0 to US 3 or 4. And those knitting needles I've had a lot of problems with. I had a set from them, but my cords kept snapping. So I highly recommend maybe just sticking with their tried and true larger size knitting needles for the interchangeable sets because I'm not sure of the quality of their thinner sets, but they are also a little more affordable. I think they're like $100 cheaper than the Chiago ones, and there's less sizes in the sets that they offer, but they're cheaper and cover the majority of sizes you need as well. So both are great. There's also other ones. I have a Clover Takumi set, which is bamboo. There's Lantern Moon, there's Licca, there's tons of knitting needle kits out there, or interchangeable knitting needle sets out there. So I recommend doing some research yourself, seeing which one would work best for you or whoever you're knitting gifting for, and choosing that one. But these 2 are ones that I can speak to the quality of. My next category is yarn winders. So I have 3 different ones linked. The first one is one that I just got and has changed my life because it is electric. And so it just, spins on itself. I just turn it on and turn it off when a ball of yarn is wound, and it is amazing because I personally am kind of hypermobile, and so the motion of sitting and winding for me is really hurtful, or over time is kind of painful on my shoulder and painful on my wrist because it's really hard for me to kind of maintain the right posture to do it. So I got this electric yarn winder because I also wind up a lot of yarn, and it is amazing because I just turn it off and watch it, and then turn it on, watch it, wind all the yarn, and then get to turn it off when it's done. And I'm not sitting there like this, cranking it and kind of messing with my shoulder, messing with my wrist, and all that. So highly recommend an electric one. It might just be me that loves it, but I think that they are so useful and save a lot of time as well because I can get a few rows in while I'm winding yarn. So that is my number one yarn winder. But I do also have one from Knit Picks linked that is kind of, it attaches to a table and it's a hand crank yarn winder, and you can get these guides to wind a center pole ball yourself. So it's kind of just a stick that you can wind your yarn around, and it's a good guide to be able to hand wind your yarn onto this specific stick so that you can pull the yarn out from the center. So either of those are also great options, a little bit more time consuming, but also a little cheaper. So trade-offs there. And my second to last tools suggestions are around blocking materials. So, you can get a set of nice blocking mats that are a thicker foam and have, guides for inches on them, come with pins to block an item, once it's done and you're rinsing it and washing it and letting it grow out, relax, all that. It's great to have a set of these foam mats with inch measurements, or you can get centimeter measurements as well, and lots of little pins with them to nicely block out your work. You can also get a nice steamer, so that's really useful if you don't want to have to wet block your work every time, or you work with a lot of acrylic or bamboo or silk. All of those do really well with steam blocking rather than wet blocking, and so it's great to have a steamer. It's also like you're working on projects a lot and you want to be able to kind of quickly see, like, okay, where is the yoke laying now? Like, let's block it out a little bit to see where you are. Steam block is great for that. So I highly recommend getting a garment steamer because they're just really useful. It's a great little gift too, because it's another one of those things where I'm like, I held off on buying myself one for so long because I was thinking like, well, I can wet block it. I don't need to have the steamer, but the steamer is so useful because then I can just check where things are, if something's too big to realistically wet block, or there's certain fibers I'm working with that I can't wet block. Steaming is amazing. So highly recommend. Another thing that you could get for blocking essentials is a nice wool wash. So I love the brand Soak. There's also the brand Euclid. I've linked Soak's website though to get their nice scents. I have the fig scent that I use all the time, and it's just nice because it conditions your wool products a little bit more and kind of gives them like a little bit of a wash, but you don't have to then rinse out the wool wash. So it's a really nice product, and I can vouch for them because I have pretty sensitive skin and I've never had an issue using their products and not rinsing it out. So I recommend them. And then my final recommendation for blocking essentials is a collapsible tub. I specifically got one from Amazon that I've linked below that is meant for washing your dog in, but it's just kind of a basin that you can collapse up and down, and so that I have a walk-in shower, and so I can still block things in my bathroom because I have a tub to put it in, but then I can also collapse that tub down and put it under my sink when I'm not using it. But before I had the walk-in shower, I did have a bathtub, but in order to block anything, I'd have to wash out the entire bathtub first and kind of like clean the tub. But with the blocking tub, I can just pop it up and fill it up, and that's it. So I think that is super useful and something that I love. You can also get like a standard basin for a little bit cheaper, but I like the collapsible ones because storing a huge basin's a lot more difficult than storing something that collapses down to where I can just slide it under my sink or kind of next to cabinets. It's very useful. And my final recommendation for knitting tools is some try-it-on tubing. So this is something that you can put on your needles, move all your stitches onto it, and it's a lot bigger, a lot more flexible, so that while you're working on a project, working on a sweater, you can put the body of your sweater on this tubing and be able to try it on while you're working on it, because it just gives you a lot more feedback. It's nice to be able to try something on, make sure it's the right length, the right width, just catch mistakes or catch things that you don't like quicker because you can try it on. So highly recommend try it on tubing, and it's a great gift because it's another one of those things where well, technically you can, get all your stitches onto scrap yarn and use that, and that's cheaper and free. Well, it's free, but the try it on tubing, because you can just put it on your needle and slide them so quickly, is a lot more convenient. So recommend that. And I have one linked from a yarn shop below, but you can get them from tons of different places. So check out the yarn shops you're shopping from, or check out Amazon if you need to, and you will find it somewhere. So there we go. And my final category of suggested gifts for knitters are parallel hobby items. So the first thing I want to talk about is an audiobook subscription. I have Audible specifically linked, but there are other audiobook providers. You could also maybe look at a movie or TV show provider like Netflix or Hulu. All of those offer gifted subscriptions. So it's just a really nice thing when you're knitting to be able to watch or listen to something. You could also do like a Spotify subscription. So it's fun to gift and say, hey, I know you knit a lot and want to listen to things or watch things. Like, here's 3 months of Hulu, here's 3 months of Audible, or something like that, so that people can enjoy their books and have this parallel hobby. I also think that tea and coffee are often great gifts for knitters, because I love, a lot of knitters love being very cozy, creating a nice cozy space to knit in, and having a nice warm beverage is an essential part of that, at least for me. And so giving someone a nice mug that they can have their tea or coffee in, giving someone a brand of tea that they really like that's kind of more of a luxury tea or a luxury coffee, or even hot chocolate, whatever kind of that person's preferences are, if is a great idea. So I don't have specific ones linked because I think, people are so unique in what drinks they want, but I do recommend, I think it's a really great idea to give someone a warm beverage of some kind that they can enjoy with their knitting. And my final recommendation, as kind of a parallel hobby, it is directly related to knitting, but slightly different, is knitting journals. So I have 2 linked. There's tons out there though, so look around, see what you can find is the perfect thing. But I love the idea of a bullet journal or a project journal to just keep track of what you're working on, when you worked on it, what yarn you used, what you thought of it, and be able to kind of document your work throughout the year. So I have 2 linked below. There's tons out there, and it's directly related to knitting, but it feels like a parallel hobby to me because it's like the documenting and tracking and planning part of knitting. So I think that's fun as well, and not something necessarily I'd get for myself, but something that I actually put on my own gift list. So there we go. That was a lot of recommendations. Hopefully there's something in there that you would like or would like to gift. And I think that's it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Solstice, whatever you're celebrating. If anything, I hope it's great. And I will see you again soon. And that's all from me. All right, bye.